to Guerilla Radio. Guerilla Radio is live every Thursday morning from 10 to 11 a.m. and we broadcast every Thursday night from 11 to midnight on KPFZ. Streaming to the world at kpfz.org. We got podcasts at visionradiofree.net. And in case you are new to Guerilla Radio, this is freedom of speech radio. We give the voice, the mic to the people to tell their stories, talk about their concerns. This is the people's radio station. So if any time you want to call up and say anything about the topics we will be discussing today, the phone number is 263-3435. That's 263-3435. And in the studio here today, we have two guests with us. Former chairman of ELEM, Bonnie Sloan, and Joan Moss, underground reporter extraordinaire. Thank you for being here. How are you guys doing?
Thank you.
Right on. And so, you guys had some issues that you wanted to get out to the people, some things to discuss. I wanted to hand the mic over to you guys and maybe introduce yourselves and what you will be discussing today and kind of get it rolling.
Okay, my name is Bonnie Sloan. I am from Eliminated Colony as a disenfranchised member. My concern today is still on my 8 grandchildren that I'm talking about. I'm pleased to get help from people out here in our county to try to foster my children besides putting them out of the county. I see too many things and I'm hurt every day and I cry every day, so I'm pleading with people out there. I know you're out there. We need help. I need help. It's really stressing me with the kids I see, and I visit them and they cry and they want to come home. I'm just like every day of my life, I'm just laying down since December the 16th, since they've been taken away December the 16th, 2012. With the allegation that was said. That was a false allegation against me. And I'm not a criminal person. I have a clean record. I want my kids home. And if somebody could foster my kids until I could get them home, please give a call or something. I need help right now, because my kids are in distress right now. I almost had one kid that had almost his leg gone. I got one that her hair is messed up, and we know what that is. And we have one that's been thrown against the refrigerator. I had one that was sprayed in the eye with a 409. A lot of incidents happen with my children when they're not even in my home. They've been damaged. In my home, there were never, nothing like that never happened to them. But now they're out there in foster homes. It seems like a lot of stuff is going on, and a lot of damages, and emotional damage, and physical damage. So I'm pleading for help for somebody out there to get my kids back in this county and look over for them for me until the court and everything's over with so I could win them back.
So who has taken your kids? Is the child the CPS for the county?
Yeah, the CPS had taken the children away from me, which on the grounds I don't know why, because at that time the kids were all in school and the social worker was standing outside, CPS worker. I was up here at my counselor in Lakeport here with one of the children. I went home and found this lady standing at my porch, and I don't know why she was standing there. Nobody was at home, not supposed to be at my house. But I'm still confused of my allegations, and why can't I have my kids back if I don't have anything wrong with my criminal record or anything, and I'm clean, everything is fine. I've got 2 kids back, and why not give me the other ones?
Are there any people that you think may be targeting you to harass you?
I think CPS is harassing me. CPS is punishing me because every time I would make a report or do something, it seems like they would have accusations against the child and put them further away from me. They moved them. As soon as you make a little mistake or say something about the CPS or something, it's always a negative stuff, and then you can't. You don't have anything anymore. I mean, it's them that you're fighting against. Also, it's the CPS and also the law enforcement and Rob Brown and all those guys. I even plead to them, and they just slammed the door in my face. But it's all that.
So Elam is one of the most ancient cultures that we have ever recorded. To my understanding, for tens of thousands of years, they've been in this area as a sovereign tribe, and so now the whole issue of the tribal people, having their own freedom, their own sovereignty over their own lands, their own families, and the CPS coming in and taking Indian children from their families. This is something that has been going on for a long time. What is your thoughts on the overall war that is being waged to break up families, especially Native people, and to take away their culture?
Well, the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978 was written and passed to prevent that very experience from happening. But we have evidence, and we believe that the Elam Tribal Council that's in power at this point, they disenfranchised over 33 families, or 33 members. That means that those members cannot vote, and those members cannot receive per capita payments from the Gaming Commission. And we have evidence and letters. Just recently, there has been a letter from Nathan Brown II, and they're saying that they're trying to give services to Bonnie's two grandchildren that she has in her home now. But at the same time, they made it clear to me when I was an ICWA worker that they would prefer the children not be back with the grandmother. And that's totally against the ICWA law, which wants the families preserved. And they're saying here that if, for example, if the tribe is allocated $5,000 to the ICWA budget and there were no cases, these funds would be rebudgeted to another line item category like job training or education wherever the need is greater. Well, that's not true at all. Lorraine Lewa from Santa Rosa said that the ICWA monies would have to be returned to the federal government if they're not spent on ICWA. So that's just one of the things that's in this letter that Bonnie shared with me. They're saying that they want to help the children. Well, the children, the law is about the Indian families. It's not about keeping the kids away from the parents and grandparents. and the CPS, this Department of Children's Services, has said that they're for reunification. But during this reunification effort, these children are not allowed to call their grandmother, and the social workers do not return calls of the children for 14 days. And then, as punishment, they don't allow the children to call the grandmother. And I filed a grievance Monday because a 15-year-old granddaughter was sprayed in the face with 409. That's a poison cleaner. And she had to go to the doctor, and she still cannot see. And then another inmate, I will say, another teenager, spit in her face. Now, I happen to know that those two things compromise assault, and that teenager should be punished. Well, I called in a grievance and about that particular group home in Upper Lake, and then the next day, Bonnie learns that instead of punishing the teenager who sprayed the person, the 15-year-old, with 409, and who spit in the teenager's face and is calling her names, instead of punishing him, now they're moving the 15-year-old again to make Bonnie cry.
And so, Bonnie, you were disenfranchised from the Elam tribe?
Yes.
And when was this?
This was back in, where's my...
1995?
Yeah, 1995.
Something like that. Or no, it was 2012 that they sent you the letter.
Yeah, they sent me
July,
the letter
just last year.
Here it is, 2012. That's when this happened. This whole thing went like this.
33 people altogether have been disenrolled?
Actually, it was 35.
35.
Yeah.
And how many people are in the tribe altogether?
I'd say before it was like 104.
So
now it's like 102 because we had some people that passed away.
What do you think are the reasons for this massive disenrollment or disenfranchisement?
I think this thing is just like you have. It's just like I said. There's more power for the group that has the whole office or whatever, and we don't have anything. But I think what's happening is that we have a split tribe is because we have people that don't dislike the other people. I don't like the word hate, but dislike the other half of the group. So the other half will take over because they got the majority vote. And so they just like overpower us. So they use that power to go like this, disenfranchise us, and take away all our rights, all our money, and everything else. Now, with the education, what they're talking about on that letter there, if they say they're doing education and stuff, where they're moving that money to educational stuff, that leaves my kids out of that educational stuff because they don't have right to have that fund. It's only for their fraction again. So they're lying about helping the kids. They're not helping my kids. They're torturing my kids. They're also, I'm like, I guess I could be really tough with these guys too. But actually, I'm a soft-hearted person. I will break down sometime, but I'm not going to let these people do this to me. I'm going to fight all the way.
And do you think the same people that are disenfranchising you are going after your kids too?
Yeah, certainly.
How can the Lim tribe establish an ICWA fund for Indian families and then refuse housing aid, refuse all the aid they give to all their members in good standing? Bonnie has had trouble with her paying her lights, paying her water. Bonnie has had trouble paying her rent. And I saw documents when I was there where they're helping everyone else that's in good standing, but they're not helping the disenfranchised people. In fact, the tribe wrote a letter to the water company in the Oaks wanting to turn off the water at a household in Elam. And how's that helping the 6 kids that live in the house? Saying that it's against the tribal constitution where this fellow put his trailer, but yet they're not speaking to each other about it, you know. And Clayco's Water District refused to turn off the water, and they're having their attorney look at it. And that's Jim Steele is the director there. And he did a great job of running the meeting, and nobody came to blows. And I don't like having someone say one thing one week and then that's not true, and then the next week denying that she ever said it. I can't work like that. And so I left my position, and they hired another person to take my place. I don't think they even let the judge know about the person that was taking my place, but the judge acknowledged her. And it's very confused and mixed up, Conrad.
And so the faction that is trying to take over Elam in this power grab...
They actually are in power at the present time. And I've heard Bonnie tell me that they're taking the per capita money that the disenfranchised members are due. They're not giving them to the disenfranchised members, and that's what they're running their office on. But I don't know if that's, we need to prove that.
Now, are these actually like Elam people, descendants of the Elam tribe, like doing this?
Yes.
Yes. And do they? Is there any elders like that like on their faction? Do they have any traditional elders that they, I don't know. Some elders can go and talk to them in a council. I mean, like, is there any communication that can be established, between the factions?
The 2 of them were in the same room, but there were no elders there. Bonnie now is an elder. I knew her mother really well. In fact, and I knew, and her mother lived right next door to another grandmother I was very close to, who's related to the people who are in the tribal council at this point. But they're both gone now. They passed. I'm sure they're turning over in their graves.
Yeah.
Over what's going on.
Only elder that we got right now in Elam is Irvin Miranda. He's the only elder we got there.
Has he been disenfranchised?
Yes.
Okay.
And also, the other side don't have any elders. They're just like about in their 60s or 50s. But my uncle is the elders on the disenfranchised side.
Is that Irvin?
He's the only one. Yeah.
Irvin Miranda.
Matter of fact.
Is there any organization or unification of the disenrolled people to somehow organize against this?
Yeah, we wrote to the California Bureau of Indian Affairs, and then we sent the same complaint on to the Department of the Interior, and they referred our case to the Department of Social Services Bureau of Indian Affairs. But we haven't heard anything from them in a month. So I called them just this week to find out what happened to our letters and our documents that we sent them.
So the BIA, from my understanding, has been really kind of uncooperative in this disenrollment fraud that's happening. Like, what authority do they have to act, if any, legally?
Well, actually, their authorities on how they act is the one that's got in power right now. They're just for the ones that's got the whole group and got the office. They're not for the disenfranchisement people. They're for the people that's in there right now. So actually, they always say we can't intervene in tribal business, but they do intervene. They do.
The BIA says that.
Yeah, the BIA says that they're not supposed to, but they do. So I would say they're for these guys. They're not working for us.
But we are complaining, and I heard from an attorney, Brian Claypool. He's in Pasadena, and I was threatened by a social worker the very day I was on here last time, May 30th. And it's not what the social worker said, it's the way she said it. And there were witnesses. And we found out what confidentiality means for juvenile cases. And the woman from the lawyer's office told us, it's Brian Claypool, by the way. It's his number. I have his number. And he said that we can talk about the cases, but we cannot mention the names of the juveniles, because Brian Claypool is now in a really important case in Miramonte about 15 children who were abused by the teacher. And they have to talk about these juvenile matters. And she said that you can talk about the case, but you can't mention the name of the juveniles. And what they do is mention the initial of the first and last name of the minors, but you cannot mention the names of the juveniles.
Yeah.
So when they're saying we can't talk about juvenile cases in public, that's not what this woman told me. I do have a copy of the law. And I think it'd be really interesting to talk about this foster parent. Yeah. But it's Bonnie's show, and I'm not going to take it over.
Go ahead, John. You're doing good.
Bonnie was an ICWA worker for her tribe in the past before she was disenfranchised. And she knew to do home visits, and I did a home visit. And Bonnie was very concerned about her grandson. And we found out just 2 weeks ago that this particular foster parent was decertified from Redwood Children's Services in 2009. And I called, and the woman I spoke with, Willow and Ukiah, said that I can tell you he was decertified, but that's all I can tell you. I could tell you we don't know what agency he's working through. He was working through Redwood Children's Services, but now we don't know. You can ask the Department of Social Services, and they are supposed to be able to tell you what agency he's with. Well, the woman at the reception office, she's very nice, by the way. She said, I can't tell you. It's up to the social worker to tell you what agency he's working through. So I did a Freedom of Information request from Bob Weiss, who is the county counsel for the Department of Social Services, to find out what agency this foster parent is under at the present time, because his son has a criminal record, and the son has documents that we have right here against him. And they're from 2013. He was found to have drug paraphernalia in his car. He was found to have a loaded weapon in the car and in the house that wasn't registered, and other things. We have that, and we asked Bob Weiss about that. What is this Timothy Michael Monty doing with criminal charges, registering with his paperwork with the same address as the foster parent in Lucerne? You know, and so what did they do? They moved the other granddaughter who's still there. They moved Bonnie's grandson out, and he did get kicked in the leg December 24th, 2012, and it's in the file. But see, I'm not a worker anymore for ICWA, so I can't look in the file, and I can't make copies. Even when I was a worker, it was unclear whether it was a full party or just a party. And a full party could make copies of the file, but a party can just look at them. Anyway, it's very it gets very confusing. But we do have a freedom, and we are. Bonnie gave me a lot of stuff I didn't know she had, and I make copies and give her back because I'm not a very good paper person. I have too many papers around. And we have another paper that we tried to tell the judge, and the judge would not let Bonnie speak. So we're going to give that too. There's a Juvenile Justice Commission meeting at 12:15 today on the 3rd floor of the courthouse in Room C, and we're beginning to hand in documents. And Bonnie can read this because he never got to read it to the judge. Anyway, I don't want to do a lot of talking, but we are handing them in, and we're starting our complaint process to the grand jury, to the Juvenile Justice Commission, and to Brian Claypool in Pasadena.
Yeah, because I think Joan and I are really getting into a lot of stuff here with foster parents and stuff like that, and see what the wrongdoing of the CPS is not really checking these people out. My understanding, I heard about, they have it's called a black list. It's like maybe the foster parent's fairly good, fairly not good. But if they can't find somebody in this county, they put them in that blacklist place. So I think these guys in Lucerne was on the blacklist case. So that's where my grandkids ended up to be. But I think, like you were saying, that does the tribal people right now in the tribal office care for the kids? No. They are also negative, just like the CPS. There's no help from them at all. So I'm stuck. I'm stuck in town. I'm paying the rent. I'm paying everything. These people here that's in the office today don't even live on the reservation. They have one people that live on the reservation, and they keep calling the cops because people are driving around and stuff. But that's way beyond. And the guy that owned that house, he's deceased right now. And the lady is not even a Native American. She's a Mexican lady. And she did have kids for this guy, but these kids are maybe in their 30s or 40s or whatever. They're here and there. But actually, they're not even getting along either, because we have the other side of the fracture now with Mr. Stewart and his family is also battling against Sarah Garcia and these guys too, because I'm saying their name because they can't come after me.
And we have 2 phone calls on the line.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to these women.
You're on, caller?
Yeah, well, my heart goes out to these dear women, and I got a couple of suggestions for both of you. When you go to court, ask for a change of venue out of this area, out of Lake County. This is normal procedure for this area. Not only the Indians, but the white people too. Grandparents are not allowed to have their children up here. That is standard procedure for this area. That even applies to everybody up here, every grandmother up here. You Indians, but the white people too are having the same issues with the Child Protective. All these grandmothers up here are fighting for their children. Every one of these grandmothers up here, every grandmother are going through the same thing you folks are going through. So it's not you, it's everybody. So what you have to do is request this procedure taken out of this venue, out of Lake County. And not only that, ask to be seen at Judge Judy, and she'll straighten this out. Judge Judy will straighten this out. I seen Judge Judy in act. She took a guy that had a kid and locked him in a closet here at one of these churches, and she read him the riot act, and she made him look stupid, and he got kicked out of that church. She read him the riot act. These people up here are nuts. These Lake County officials are all evil. This place is run by Oregon. I'll tell you, this is run by Oregon. And what's going on here is control. And what they're trying to do is break up every family, everybody. This is evil. This place is run by evil. And what you got to get is out of the area. Have request is to be seen by Judge Judy if you can. If not, have request to be taken out of this Lake County. And then I don't care where it is, out of this county, period. Anywhere but this county.
That's a good idea.
You know what I'm saying? Request, you have to request that, though. That's the first thing you need to do is have this case taken out of this county. If you get out of this county, period, and then you get some justice, because this place is run by evil.
Well, thank you for that suggestion.
And you got to request the Judge Judy to see it, and I guarantee you she'll straighten up, because she's a grandmother, and she cares about children, and she loves grandparents.
Right on, Judge Judy.
Okay. Judge Judy will clean house. She'll make them look stupid, and she'll expose them to the whole world.
Well, thank you so much, caller.
Right.
And Bonnie has tried to speak in court, but she's not even allowed to speak in court.
I'm not even allowed to speak in court.
You asked for a change of venue out of this. That's right. You can't talk in this county. You asked for a change of venue. Heck with this county. Don't even talk to them. Tell them, I want to change the venue. I don't want to talk to you people.
That's right, man. I'm down. Hey, thank you for calling, brother. Thank you.
Right on, brother.
Right on. All right, peace, man.
That's a good idea.
And thank you, caller. That was some righteous words. And we have another call. Caller, you're on the air.
Well, express yourself. Express yourself. I'm noticing, my ex-wife's from France, and they get $500 a month for every child, and same in the Netherlands and Belgium. And oftentimes the children's services will be taking their children right left and center for any reason they can think of to get that money. And there may be some way they're having less to divide and allocate their monies for their tribes by the more they can get rid of everybody. And I'm seeing how that's some per se laws that could be put on the complaint. One of them is what is that called? Retaliatory treatment. When in that agency, in that office, they have something against you personally, it's called unique and arbitrary treatment. If they've done something retaliatorily against you. And,
I believe that's going on.
Yeah.
Yep, and coercion with the other agencies, but I think that's some language that could be used, and if you lean on them in court with punitive damages and deterrence measures to make sure no one in that position ever is tempted to do that again, you got to find some way to have more higher force against them. Maybe bring in other attorneys, like the other gentleman said, go elsewhere with this, because it's just like you got to have equal force or even more to lean on them to make them do right. Apparently, they have the choice to do right, but if they don't want to, you have to make them. I would try to sue them and make punitive damages and have deterrence measures. But anyway.
Yeah, we do have an attorney we're talking to, and we're sending him things, and we are... I'm meeting with Bonnie has a class, but there's a meeting at 12:15 with the Juvenile Justice Commission. We're beginning to turn documents in. I have a suitcase of documents.
Yeah, you could dig up and see there was nothing done to make that result happen. Other people have had worse things happen and never happened. It's just the same thing as other issues going on in this.
What's ironic is that this foster parent has a son with a criminal record in the home or listing his home, and here that's worse than all Bonnie had was a restraining order that she was forced to take against her daughter. There wasn't loaded weapons in the house and in the car, for God's sake.
Well, they need any dumb stupidness to leverage causing devastation to y'all and getting more greedy money in their pocket or whatever their agendas are. The previous caller was right. I agree with him. He needs to drink. He needs to cut back on the caffeine. Okay, y'all have a good day.
We're trying.
You too.
Thank you, caller. And we have another phone call. Caller, you're on.
Yeah, I just wanted to add some of the legal background, also why it's so important. The tribe, first of all, if the tribe was functional and not dysfunctional like it is being led, and I hate to say this, but they're a bunch of alcoholics and drug addicts. They're our ELEM Council. None of them have lived here for over 15 years. Okay.
You mean on the reservation, correct?
Well,
they haven't lived at ELEM, correct?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so what has happened is, legally, Bonnie could request all of her grandchildren's cases to be transferred to a tribal court in Hopland, California. Okay,
she started to do that.
Has her own tribal court. This county could not refuse that.
Bonnie has started to do that.
Okay, and so again, that's another way of getting around this county's prejudice. And again, I say this not just as a complainer. I was the first Native American appointed to the Juvenile Justice Commission by Judge Golden. Some of you guys remember Judge Golden?
Oh, yeah.
Also, I worked at the juvenile hall for over 5 years part-time. And one of the biggest problems I saw there was that every time a minority child, specifically an Indian or Hispanic or black, the first thing that our juvenile system did was send them to CYA, whereas the rest of the white kids got to go to the local farms, the local families here, and then get back into their community. So that's one of the reasons I ended up quitting the juvenile hall. And I didn't, because they were basically setting our children up to be convicts. And so there was no justice there in that department. So again, getting back to Indian Child, you're right. Now, ELEM, we had one of the first Indian Child Welfare Consortium started here. And at the time, there was so much need for those kind of issues, and it was just getting started. So every year, what happens when a tribe applies for its federal grant, they put down the budget that they're requesting for EQUA, and that money should be used directly. So, for example, and I've ran the EQUA for quite a while as a tribal administrator. For example, let's say if there was no EQUA cases, with that money, we can legally say go into Bonnie's home and fix or repair plumbing or windows, just so the kids will be safe and all of that. So see, that's why these people, all they care about is dividing up this non-gaming money. And right now, they have the majority of our voters, and they actually only outvote us by about 7 votes. And yet, look at how ironic. I call it an Indian apartheid, because none of them live here on the reservation. We got in 2009, we have a $900,000 funded HUD community center that's sitting here dormant. No water, no electricity, because the leaders of the ELEM people decided to move to Lower Lake, California, and open up a tribal office because they're so afraid, because they brought a Mexican gang into our community. And they created this hardship between many of the families. And that's why they feel they don't want to be here, because they feel threatened. And they should, because they brought this violence to our community. And matter of fact, the current chairman, Nathan Brown Jr., I have videos of him walking around with the Uzi, shooting it in the air. And when I tried to give that to Sheriff Mitchell, he didn't want nothing to do with it. Okay, so this is the kinds of things that has happened. And then a good example, we have a lot of elders here, not just Irvin.
Okay.
I'm 60 myself, and I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters, and they're all older than me, so they're elders as well. So none of this group has any traditional people with them. They don't have really the elders. So all they're about is a political vendetta against all the people living here. And that's why, and the other ironic thing is, everyone's probably been talking about the Tracy Avila case, right? Well, a good example, if we win that case, the money's going to go right to that group. And nobody here is going to have any kind of benefit from it at all. So it's really hard when, all of this kinds of issues come up, because, again, look at our children, like Bonnie's talking about, the grandchildren. They're the ones really suffering. And without a good, healthy leadership in your tribe, that's what happens. So, anyway, sorry about going on like that, but
it's okay, Jim.
That's the truth. And the bad thing is the BI is a culprit here, because what I brought up before, and I brought up several times on the radio, it was BIA who brought in the mine tailings to this reservation in 1970. And
poisonous, toxic mercury.
Yes, and what they did was they only gave the tribe money, litigation funds, to go after Bradley Mining Company and exclude them. And once we found out, and I was in the leadership at the time, and every time I became a leader, they would make sure that my tribe was shut down, we didn't have any funds, because they knew we wanted to sue them. And so that's why they're supporting this group, because this group 100% supports them. Mabel Forkiller has been an employee of BIA, her daughter sits on this council as well. Okay, so those are the kinds of, really political problems that has been going on here, and it's really hard because, like I said, they disenfranchised us. It's like having a kangaroo court. They accuse you of 20 or 30 different things without any proof, and they say, all right, if you don't show up or you come to this meeting, then you're disenfranchised for 10 years. See, so that's what is going on. And what I also talk about is they have this attorney named Anthony Cohen. He does this he has about 7 tribes himself, and he does the same thing, disenrolling and disenfranchising anybody who tries to question the political leaders. So it's really a bad case right now that's going on. And matter of fact, everybody I've written to comes back to the same answer and says, we can't do anything, it's up to the tribe. We can't interfere in their sovereignty. So here is where democracy, so-called democracy, the power of the vote, these people are all sick and dysfunctional. And yet, because they have the majority and all they're doing is dividing up the money. So, for example, Bonnie and I would, all those 34 members that they disenfranchised, we would be getting $2,500 every quarter. So around $11,000 a year. Now that money is going to the other members to keep us out. So it's worth it to them because financially they're gaining. None of them live here or none of them care about what's going on here. None of them are traditional at all. So this is kind of what has happened through the genocide and the colonization. One last thing I wanted to say was about the county. In 2006, my wife and I went because we were helping one of our nephews who got shipped to Redding, California, to a group home. And the only way he was able to come to ceremonies was they wanted a family that would pass the live scan here. So they can, bring him here and let him. So we did that. My wife and I went through it, and then what the county said is, okay, from now on, any Native American children available that we need for, private homes or adopt, just like the group home or any other that we need to stay, you guys are on the list. And we felt good because, at that time we had a lot of room. We have not been called once since 2006 to take in any Indian children at all. So again, it shows the county is just, they're all talk. They don't agree with the law, and they're a part of breaking up our Indian families. That's what ECWA was for, passed in 1978 to keep our families together. And the extended family has a right to come and claim that child, and the county has not allowed that to happen. So anyway, that's just some of the information, and I hope more people will understand the real politics that are going on here. And thanks to Bonnie for hanging in there.
I will. I'm trying my best for everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's just like what Jim was saying about the foster parents and about how certain peoples are allowed to have the Native American kids and certain peoples are. And then also, even though I went out there and looked for my families or looked for somebody that I think that would be able to take my kids, they'll always be let down. There's always something going on with that family. We can't give that family, your child to that family because of their background criminal record. Or it's always something that the CPS always be looking forward to. But non-Native, they don't even do that. It's just like the ones in Lucerne. They just put my child there. He's not a Native American, but they put him there. But our thing for the ICWA is that we're supposed to put our Native American children with Native American families, and that's never been happened. Maybe some certain points it did, but also, like Jim said, is that we need to really look forward to try to get these Native American families involved in a lot of stuff like this, because so that way we could have a group together, or maybe form a Native American group or foster care, come in, and not even for, I'm going for like Native Americans and non-Native, because I know how it is out there with other grandparents that I meet in town or wherever they come up and talk to me and stuff like that. But I'm for everybody. I want to help everybody. Even though if I get my grandkids back, I'm going to still fight for the other person.
As a matter of fact, Bonnie was a foster parent and did house a teenager.
Yeah.
She was an equal person, and she was a foster parent.
And we have 2 phone calls. One has been waiting for a little while. Caller, first one, you're on.
Me?
Yeah, that's you.
Hi, it's Cheryl. And Bonnie, I've been following your plight. And I've known Joan like 20 years. You've been involved with Elam ever since I met you. And remember Mario and all that. And I just wanted to say that if, you need people, you get to a situation where you need, numbers of people, I'd be happy to pick at CPS or anything like that. So you can get in touch with me, and I'd bring at least, 10 people for that.
Do you have a phone number, Cheryl?
Yeah, 262-0606.
Thank you very much.
That'd be great.
And anything I can do, I'm overemployed, but I do take out time to, spread the word and organize a little bit.
Good.
So I'll pray for you. And my son is on the border dealing with CPS right now because his baby doesn't weigh enough.
Oh, no.
And I told him, be careful, that Gestapo will take him and they don't give him back because of the money. It's all the money.
Yes.
That's what it's all now.
All the money. Okay.
That's horrible.
We all got to just hang together and be strong and fight against the county. That's what we need to do, because they're just like kids.
I'm glad you got 2 back. 2 more to go, huh?
Thank you. I got 5 more to go yet.
5 more to go?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 4. Alrighty. Love you guys. Thanks, Conrad, for having the show.
Hey,
Bye.
thank you.
Cheryl hired me to clean the homestake mine one time, and I couldn't do it. I can't even clean my own house. Boy, that Cheryl, though, she went from office to office in the middle of the night, cleaned up homestake mine. And she actually had the faith to try to hire me to clean house.
Sounds pretty stout and strong.
I tried. I was younger then.
And we have another phone call. Caller, you're on.
Good morning, Conrad.
Hey.
And Bonnie and all you guys over there.
Good morning.
Hey, gosh, it's been a long time since I worked with Indian youth diversion and all that. But I don't know where all the, where we can get help and stuff. But I was thinking about the California Indian Legal Service. They're supposed to help Indians, and they don't fight Indians against Indians, but they will fight, one time they were going to sue BIA for me because what Robinson was doing to me, and BIA was backing him up, and they were going to sue BIA, and we got Robinson moving with that scare, and so I don't know where Indian Legal Service numbers, how to get it or anything, but I think they're in Oakland. Oh, you did?
That, yeah.
What, they didn't said nothing?
They said we don't go Indian against Indian, and we're complaining about the Elam Tribal Council.
Oh.
As well as the Department of Social Services.
It's really look like they would do something against CPS.
You'd think so.
Because that's what Cheryl was saying. They were saying about it's all about the money, and that's what they're doing. They're playing with our kids for the money, and they really don't care, And all we can do right now is just back you up and pray for you and hope everything, comes out, picket or, protest or whatever, if you guys want to do that,
Yeah.
It's really important.
It might come close to that.
Yeah, it's really important to know the facts. FACTS and this attorney in Pasadena is helping me to learn the facts. And he does have a class action suit against CPS. I believe. I heard that. And he wants to see our evidence.
Because
We need money for copies.
Yeah. Well, the law is when you take a kid out of an Indian home, you're supposed to put it back in an Indian home, and not another, different race of people. And that's what the Indian child welfare law is all about, I think.
Yeah, we got a copy of the law.
I don't really think that CPS is really acknowledging the ICWA thing either, because they just pass it down and put it maybe file 13. Who knows?
They're using ICWA to keep the families separated.
And that's the tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
When we're doing all these ceremonies and stuff like that, I'll be mentioning, that right there about Indian children taken out of Indian homes and not being taken care of. That we should pray for all of that. Everybody should be getting involved in protecting our kids. Because that's our kids too. All these, even the little white kids, green kids. They're all those kids, all the kids in the world, man. We should be protecting them.
Yeah.
All of us, all the people in the world should be protecting all the kids and not letting them be molested and letting them be, abused and frightened and heartbroken. It tears my heart when I hear when my grandchildren's heartbroken. It just tears me up.
And where do you go and what do you do when the Child Protective Services is having foster homes where the children are abused? Where do you go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, maybe we should take about 300 or 400 people in that office and make them.
Well, Clayton, what I did is I went to the victim witness place and tried to get help there and go and do on this foster care because my grandson almost lost his leg. And then they sent me across the street there, and here comes Don Anderson come flying out of the office, and I asked him how could I go about suing the foster parent if my child loses his leg. And he said, just wait a minute, he told me. So he went to his office, he comes back out, and he said, well, there's nothing I can really do about it. So my daughter and I got up, we started to walk out, and he turned around, he looked at us, he said, well, you know what, I already know all about your family. But so he slammed the door on us.
And that's the problem. Connie Sloan has passed the criminal background check. She passed it this year. She passed it before. That's why she was allowed to have foster kids. And Bonnie's home passed inspection. And there is another gentleman in the DA's office named Craig Woodworth. And he is helping us with our letters of complaint. And we are getting a lot of what we are asking for specifically. But then the kids get punished who are in the foster homes. Yeah. But we are getting what we're asking for, and I must say that wraparound services that Bonnie is under at this time does follow ICWA law. It gives services to the families while they're still in the home.
Yes.
Without taking the kids out. WRAP, W-R-A-P, and the people there have been wonderful.
Yes, they have.
To Bonnie.
The only thing I got really angry at is one of the caseworker goes over to my granddaughter and tell her that, well, you can't visit today. And she says, why? Because your grandmother's doing illegal stuff, so you can't go visit. So that's how they punished him like that.
But that wasn't wraparound, was it?
No, that was
Curry.
CPS.
Yeah, Curry.
Yeah. And I don't think they should be telling kids those kind of stuff like that. They make them out of control and stuff like that, make them think about things, and they start crying and breaking down.
All we're doing is following the complaint process and writing letters and sending letters to everyone concerned. And sending it also to Craig Woodworth, and head of investigations at the District Attorney of Lake County, and he's helping.
Well, on this journey, you guys are going to learn a lot, and you guys are going to be able to help. You ladies are going to be able to help, other people that's, going to run into this. So, in a way, you're going to learn this to help anyway. So.
I'm just afraid, Clayton, that if someday Joan and I have to wear bulletproof vests.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned about the foster kids. We've gotten letters, and we're concerned that they stay healthy and happy. And I'm concerned about the treatment some of them are getting, and whether they're going to end up, doing something rash to themselves because they're so depressed.
We've got to believe in our prayers too, man. So we got to pray and pray for those kids and tell those kids to pray too, and we got to believe in them and teach our kids to believe in them because they work.
Yeah.
And so, that's where my strength is right there, is in those prayers. I'm frustrated every day what's happening over there at Robinson, how they're treating, people and my family and stuff. But I pray every day and ask Creator, and finally I got told, just leave it alone, because they're taken care of now. They're going to be taken care of. You keep on doing what you got to do positively.
And some good things.
That's what I was told.
Yeah. Some good things have happened too. The young grandson that is with Bonnie, he smiled at me the other day. He was walking to the skate park, and he's getting some really good help from RAP. And her oldest grandson that's with her got in contact with his dad. Yeah. So it hasn't been all bad.
Oh, good.
I'm still going to be fighting.
Oh, yeah. Don't quit, man. Don't ever quit. We'll be fighting for our kids all our lives.
Kind of got let down yesterday. I was kind of like under the weather, and my heart was hurting, and I felt I was crying all the time, and then I thought I'm going to burn my sage, to wear my Angelica, and go around the house and pray and hope for my kids to come home and stuff.
Yeah. Well, you got more people doing that now.
Good.
So, by sharing this, you got more people out there praying for you too. And every time you pray, they said you have every person, when they pray for something, they got like 10,000 angels behind them. So imagine now you got how many people listen to you today? How many people are going to be praying for you today? Now that's what, 40, 50, 60, 80, maybe 10,000, 100,000 angels we got going now, So,
thank you so much.
Just hang in there, and I feel for you, Bonnie, and you and Johnny, and you guys are family,
Right. So, we're all family.
Yeah. So, okay then.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. And we have about 4 minutes left. So
this is a page that we wanted to read to Judge Hedstrom. We weren't able to. Letter to Honorable Judge Stephen Hedstrom. I want you to be aware of what is happening concerning my 8 grandchildren and my case. We have written complaints to the California Bureau of Indian Affairs and the Federal Department of the Interior, complaining that the Alem tribe is unethically using ICWA fund grants to split up my family. I have been disenfranchised from the Alem Indian colony. I have no vote, and I do not receive per capita payments, nor do I get the help from Alem that I have received from the RAP program. In other words, the RAP program has really helped. According to the Indian Child Welfare Act, the 2 cases concerning my grandchildren should be 1 case. My grandchildren have been damaged and mistreated in foster homes, and I want you, Judge Hedstrom, to help me discover who I report this to in order to get help. I've wanted to speak, but I have not been allowed to speak. I have the right to have an advocate be with me in court. The hearing devices I have been given do not work for me. Angela Curry, social worker, has not been honest or ethical in not listening to our complaints concerning foster parent Tim Monte's lack of supervision that caused injury to my grandson last December 24, 2012. We have pictures of the hole in his leg. Yesterday, Angela Curry allowed a foster parent to attend a scheduled supervised visit without my permission. I have asked Joe Moss to write this letter for me, Bonnie Sloan.
Yeah.
And Bonnie gets torn up, so I read.
I know. I do. I'm just torn up because I want my kids home. I need help.
And the one thing that would have cheered her up was to get here with you, Conrad, so that's why I called.
Is there a number you guys want to give out in case people want to contact you?
You got the email? They could get your email?
Yeah, I've got dio.it.n@hotmail.com. I'm not too good at email, but my home number is 707-279-1650. Should I give out your number too?
707-245-2040.
We did find an attorney in Pasadena.
Can you repeat those numbers?
Bonnie's number is 707-245-2040. My home number is 279-1650. And we are beginning to network with other grandmothers and families who are doing the same thing we are.
Thank you, Bonnie Sloan, Joan Moss. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Conrad.
This is Guerilla Radio, and my cell phone number is 707-900-1191. This is a voice, a microphone for the people. So if you got something to say, you want to do a show, give me a call, 900-1191. This is really for you. So this is KPFZ 88.1 FM, Lake County Community Radio. Guerilla Radio is signing off.
Thank you, Conrad.
Thank you.
I will be waiting there, we are shouting.